Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day and your weekend are going very well so far. The NFL Week 15 is officially here, and with that comes another edition of Sunday Night Football. Got a really big matchup here with major playoff implications between the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks, and I have a good amount of picks to go ahead and share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day and a new week comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. And guys, I really like the matchup here in this spot. I have a clear side that I like. Some people might not agree with me, but I love the spot here, and I'm going to go ahead and just blurt it out. I'm not going to waste any time here. I love Seattle in this spot. Now, before I jump right into the picks, a little foreplay first. I think this is a really massive, important game because of playoff implications. Now, obviously, the Seahawks right now are leading the NFC West, but the LA Rams are nipping at their heels. They're coming off a couple of really impressive wins against the Bills, against the Niners. It's getting really tight there in that NFC West division battle. Now, they've kind of separated themselves. The Niners are basically out of it. The Cardinals are a couple games back now, but it's really a two-way race now between the Seahawks and the Rams. And with the way the Rams are playing right now, Seattle's going to want to take advantage of this opportunity. Not only would a win for Seattle mean that they would keep their hold of first place in the NFC West, but they now have the tiebreaker over Green Bay, and their records would now be even, which could be important because there's no guarantee Seattle wins the division. The Rams could go ahead and leapfrog them. In the event that happens, having the head-to-head win against the Packers for the wild card would be very, very important. And vice versa for Green Bay, it's also equally important because, again, they win this game, they get to 10 wins, they have the tiebreaker over Seattle. It basically guarantees them a wild card spot if they win this game. So yeah, for both sides, major implications. And Green Bay, technically speaking, are still alive in the NFC North division race. Still a long shot. I think Detroit is going to probably win it, but they win this game. They're only 2.5 games out of first place in the NFC North. So major implications, a massively important game. This is what Sunday Night Football is all about. So yeah, I like Seattle in this spot, guys. I'm going to go ahead and rock with them. My first pick, actually, let's go ahead and jump into the outlier screen first. My first pick in today's video, I actually have 5 picks, so we're going to try and get through them. I'm not going to try and spend 30 minutes talking today. I won't ramble on too long, I promise. We have 5 picks. This is my first of 5 picks. I have Seattle +3. Now, the spread's 2.5. I'm taking them +3. Always buy the extra half point. It's the smart thing to do. It's -125 on ESPN Bet, -130 on DraftKings, also available on BetMGM and Bet365. Getting Seattle as a field goal here, and honestly, the Seahawks have been in really great form since their Week 10 bye week. Now, overall this year, just a 46% cover rate against the spread for Seattle. Not fantastic, but not terrible. However, at this line of +3, we have a 62% hit rate for the Seahawks on the year. So they've been covering this spread at +3 pretty consistently. Look at the last 5 games. We go ahead and narrow it in a little bit here. You'll see they cover the spread in 4 of the last 5 games, including 4 in a row. Since that Rams loss back on November 3rd, the Seahawks have been a really nice run. They beat the Niners, the Cardinals again, a couple really impressive and important NFC West wins. And you're really starting to see the Mike McDonald defense take hold in Seattle. Now, the way that they play, it's a very complex system. So, they had a little bit of a slow start to the year. They're definitely starting to figure it out now. This defense is playing really, really solid. Since Week 10, they're one of the top 5 defensive teams in DVOA. This team has been absolutely fantastic. The defense is starting to take hold in their offense. Although it's been wildly inconsistent, they have the playmakers. They've got Geno Smith. They've got DK, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Tyler Lockett. Charbonnet has been playing really well. I mean, you can keep going on and on. The Seahawks have weapons. On the flip side, Green Bay's having a solid year. Obviously, they're 9-4 coming in this game. Just a 46% cover rate against the spread overall. And actually just a 46% cover rate at this line of -3. But you see Green Bay of late have not been a cover darling over the last 2 months. Now, the last 3 weeks have gotten a little bit better. They cover the spread versus the Niners. They cover the spread on Thanksgiving versus Miami. They had a push against the Lions on Thursday Night Football. But you do see here, failed to cover. This line of -3, look at failed to cover. They had a couple covers there versus Miami and San Fran, but then loss, push, loss. So yeah, the cover percentages for Green Bay are not fantastic. And this team, they are a solid team. Don't get it twisted. But I do think Green Bay, they're an interesting team. Like, they're good, but you can definitely see the flaws and the weaknesses within this team. Now, getting to the reason why I like Seattle in the matchup, I think Seattle's defense, but the way they've been playing lately, it should give Jordan Love and this Packers offense some major fits. I do think Jordan Love will struggle throwing the football against the Seahawks defense. Now, the one area Green Bay has a clear advantage is the rushing yards. Now, Green Bay is the 5th best rushing team in the NFL. The Seahawks overall, 21st defensively. However, again, that's the overall season data. Over the last 5 weeks, they've gotten much better in defending the run. So, yeah, the numbers on at first look may not look great, but overall, Seattle's defense over the last 5 weeks, the numbers are a lot better than what you're seeing here on the overall data for the season. But it's a top 10 pass defense overall this year, top 10 yards per play, pretty efficient in the red zone, decent pass rush. Again, all these numbers are better if you look at the more narrow view. I don't have it, unfortunately, right in front of me, but the narrow view, including DVOA rankings and whatnot, over the last 5 weeks, Seattle's a top 10 defensive team right now in the NFL, probably even top 5, honestly, in a lot of these key categories. So really good matchup. Mike McDonald's defense really starting to take hold. And on the flip side, Green Bay's defense has a lot of injuries, specifically in the secondary, that gives Seattle some clear advantages in this game. Now, Seattle, their offense has been inconsistent. A lot of that has to do with their offensive line. They're not very good. Look at overall, 24th in sacks allowed, 23rd in QB hits allowed. Not very good. However, Green Bay's pass rush also isn't great. Now, they are tied for 12th in sacks, which isn't bad, but tied for 23rd in QB hits. Their pressure rates and all that stuff are not looking great. They're not really great pass rush. The Packers don't have a great pass rush this year. And that's sort of the key to disrupting the Seahawks. If you make the pocket, unclean, you put pressure on Geno Smith, that's when the mistakes start to come. That's when the interceptions start to come. The inefficiency comes out in Geno Smith. But I don't think Green Bay's defense has what it takes to force that kind of pressure. I think Geno Smith, not saying he's going to have the cleanest pocket in NFL history tonight in this game, but I do think that Geno Smith will have a pretty clean pocket, will be able to go ahead and go to work passing the football. Overall, Green Bay 22nd in passing yards. The Seahawks are 3rd in passing yards. So this is a Seahawks team that likes to throw the football, and they have success doing it. This is a Green Bay defense that has not had a ton of success in that department. The injury department here, Jair Alexander's still out there, sorely missing him in this game, but the Green Bay injuries are starting to pile up in the secondary. They have some safeties that are hurt, obviously, in this game as well. So yeah, my key to the game for Seattle is I think Seattle's defense will be good enough to disrupt Jordan Love, to force him to make some mistakes. Jordan, I'm sure Josh Jacobs will still get what he gets. He'll still probably put up a decent amount of yards, but I do think that this defense will disrupt Josh Jacobs a little bit. They'll definitely disrupt Jordan Love, force some mistakes on the offensive side for Seattle. I think with the injuries to Green Bay's secondary, the way this defense is built, without the really good pass rush, Geno Smith should have time in the pocket to go ahead and just throw all over this kind of banged up Green Bay secondary. So I like Seattle here, +3. If you want to sprinkle money line, not a terrible idea, but I like the Seahawks on the spread +3. And my second pick for this game, guys, we're going with the Seahawks team total over 20.5 points. I didn't really want to touch the overall over, which is I think 46.5 at the time of recording. I was leaning over, but I do see some sharp action in the under, so we're going to avoid that. We're going to rock with a Seahawks team total over 20.5 points. I'm not going to go too much into it. I just kind of went on a 7-minute rant about Seattle. But again, clear advantage for the Seahawks when it comes to their passing offense against this Green Bay passing defense, which overall in the year doesn't look great. But when you add the fact that Alexander's still out, they have some injuries in their safety department. I do think, and the lack of a legit elite pass rush, it should allow Seattle to have some success throwing the football. Green Bay could have a hard time slowing the Seahawks offense down. Now, from a data standpoint, on this over 20.5 points, which is, by the way, -135 for the best odds on DraftKings, you see 62% hit rate so far this year for Seattle on this team total over. 8 out of 13 games have cashed the over, averaging 23.23 points per game this season. They scored 20 points in every game this year, -2 games. Buffalo on October 27th and Arizona on November 24th. Besides that, they've scored 20 points in every single game, and so you see a couple close misses here and there, but overall, a 62% hit rate on this over. Now, again, Green Bay overall, they actually are a top 10 scoring defense. They're giving up just 21.1 points per game, but 21.1 gives us an over. So I think Seattle is a pretty good bet to cash a team total over of 20.5 points. All right, guys, 3 picks left. We got some player props to close out the video here. Our first of 3 player props. We got Jordan Love over half an interception. We're getting that from -130 on DraftKings. It is available on multiple sports books for varying odds. Jordan Love, a 73% hit rate on the year. 8 out of 11 games he's cashed the over, averaging 1 interception per game this year. Now, he's been playing really well the last few weeks. 0 interceptions in each of those 3 games. Previous 3 games for Jordan Love, which is pretty impressive because prior to that, he had cashed the over in 8 consecutive games. So really good numbers there. But we do have the insights provided by Outlier here. Jordan Love has exceeded half an interception in 5 of his last 6 games on the road, averaging 1 interception per game, 83% hit rate. The only time over those last 6 games he didn't throw an interception on the road was that Thursday night game against the Lions. He had 0 picks in that game. Pretty good bet, though, for him to throw a pick here, though. Like I said, Seattle's defense is really solid. I think Mike McDaniel will throw some stuff out at him and force him to make a mistake. The Seahawks are top 10 in interceptions forced. They're averaging about 0.8 interceptions forced per game this season. And overall, the Seahawks defense in terms of turnovers, they're tied for 11th, forcing 1.2 turnovers per game. So not a bad matchup by any means. I think it's a pretty good spot there for Jordan Love. He's pretty much due to throw a pick in this game. Next up, guys, our fourth pick overall and our second player prop in today's video. We have DK Metcalf, longest reception over 22.5 yards, which we're getting from -115 on Bet365. It's available on multiple sports books. The most popular one, I would say, the one that most people have, is DraftKings, -125 on this bet. Pretty good data on the year for DK Metcalf. He's cashed the over in 73% of his games this year, 8 out of 11, averaging 32.55 longest reception per game. He's had some really big catches here and there. If we narrow it down to the last 10 games, 80% hit rate, 8 of his last 10 games, averaging 34.6 longest reception per game. In the last 5 games, 80% hit rate, 4 out of the last 5, averaging 27.6. Actually, you'll go ahead and back and look here. He had cashed it in 5 consecutive games going into the Arizona game where he had 18 yards for his longest reception. So really good data. Even last year in 2023, he had a 75% hit rate on this over. So pretty good numbers across the board here for DK. And again, looking at the Packers defense, they are 22nd, in passing yards allowed, giving up 222.2 yards per game. With Jair Alexander banged up, obviously out in this game, and some injuries in their secondary, like I've already mentioned before, I think DK should have a couple of really big catches in this game. I think Seattle will air it out a healthy amount. So DK Metcalf, over 22.5 longest receptions, seems like a really solid bet for me. His average yards per reception is 18.2, so pretty good numbers there. And yards after catch, 22.9, so really good numbers there for DK. Like the spot here. And my fifth and final pick in today's video, speaking of DK Metcalf, we obviously, if you watch my Sunday Night Football picks videos before, we close out every video with an anytime touchdown player prop giveaway. The contest is very simple. All you have to do is comment the name of the player. So in this case, you can comment DK, comment Metcalf, comment DK Metcalf, whatever you want to do. Comment some variation of his name in the comments down below. And if he cashes his touchdown prop, if DK scores a touchdown in this game, one lucky commenter will be selected with a free $25 Amazon gift card. Very easy, very simple, really fun way to go ahead and get involved. And again, if it cashes, you can make money, but you also could get a free Amazon gift card. With the holidays on the horizon coming up very quickly, that last minute Christmas shopping, that gift card could be very beneficial. So DK Metcalf, anytime touchdown scorer here. We're getting for +175 on FanDuel, which is really good value for a player like DK. Now, it's understandable when you look at the data. Only a 27% hit rate so far this year. 3 out of 11 games he's cashed the over, averaging 0.27 touchdowns per game. Again, not fantastic, the numbers there for DK, which is why you're getting it where you're getting it. He doesn't really get a lot of looks in the red. Now, overall, he's the second most targeted receiver on this team. That's because of injuries. If it wasn't for injuries, he would be number 1. A 20.1% target share in this season. Red zone targets, he's definitely a little on the lower side, only 16.3% target share. It looks like actually Jackson Smith-Njigba has gotten a good, healthy amount of targets in the red zone. What I'm banking on here, honestly, guys, is a big play touchdown. I could see a breakdown in the secondary, a breakdown in the coverage. DK goes off for a big, like a 40, 50-yard touchdown play. That's kind of what I'm banking on this game. I just think for +175, considering the matchup here, the Packers overall, they are 18th in touchdowns allowed to wide receivers, give at least 1 touchdown per game. I just like the spot overall. I think DK due for a touchdown here. It's a pretty good matchup. The Packers struggle in terms of getting up a lot of yards. With the injuries they have, I don't know who on that Packers secondary can lock up DK. I think he's due for a really big game in this one. So anytime touchdown, +175 odds is my final pick in today's video. Guys, thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I'll be back next week with another Sunday Night Football picks video. But until then, guys, hope you're all winners. Enjoy Seahawks Packers. This should be a really fun one. Let's go ahead and win some money.